I'm getting fired upon. I'm getting, like, he's doing communications, and he pulls his G's, and you can hear him go, like he's doing all his G straining.
Today, we've been invited to a place that all fans of Gunship Battle Total Warfare would go crazy about. Out here in Nevada, we're entering Nellis Air Force Base. Known as the home of the fighter pilot, Nellis Air Force Base has a celebrated history that predates the Second World War. But since inception, Nellis has been the epicenter of U.S. military aviation. With combat aviation training being its primary mission, Nellis is home to the Air Combat Command Training School, honing the skills of the world's fighter pilot elite to razor's edge viability. Pilots from all branches of the military hope to qualify to be sent here to become the absolute best of the best. With more fighter squadrons here than any other United States Air Force base, Nellis is home to the famed Red Flag Combat Training Exercise, ISR Intelligence, Surveillance, and Recon Group, the famed Aggressor Squadron, and none other than the almighty Thunderbirds. We could be here all day geeking out about just being in the vicinity of such badassery. So, by nature, this wasn't an opportunity that we'd ever pass up.
Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's Nuki, and I am here today with Reddick in Nevada. We finally made it to our final destination here, a very special place. Where are we, Reddick?
We're at the home of the fighter pilot, home of the Thunderbirds, Nellis Air Force Base.
Reddick and I are on a mission to do some recon of our own. We're gaining intel on training exercises, operations, and some history dating back to the Second World War, all right here at Nellis Air Force Base. One of the coolest things we're checking out today is the Thunderbirds Hangar. Not only is it decorated with the pride and passion of the Thunderbirds, but we'll be able to see a hands-on, 1-to-1 scale replica of an F16 cockpit.
This is the F16. This is what it looks like on the inside. You can look at it. The aircraft maneuvers based off of your input of pressure. So the stick, you're not dealing with the weight of the stick when you're pulling G's. It's if you want to turn left, you push the stick left. Even though it doesn't react to move, it can feel your pressure. You pull back, and then a little angle, you at least put the pressure on it, and you'll pull back, and you do a full barrel roll. Now the HUD's been upgraded since then. This is probably the A model. Air to ground, air to air, in-flight frequencies. You can change your COM 1, COM 2 for whoever you're talking to.
What is the story? Why that the logo that's out there is so sacred to where the point literally there's an entire ritual that kind of goes with taking care of, the herald.
So the Thunderbird name came out of, when we were first stationed out of Luke when the team was created. It's huge in the Native American heritage. The Thunderbird is technically considered an omnipotent being. It flew and clapped thunder out of its wings and shot lightning out of its eyes. That's how they saw it. The patch has changed throughout the years as we've flown the aircraft. When we first started flying, inside the patch were F-84Gs, and now, obviously for the last 40 years we've had the F-16. But the patch itself is super sacred to us.
But enough about replicas. That's not what we're here for. We're here for the real deal. And well, let's just say today is our lucky day. Welcome to the Nellis AFB Playground.
Outside of stealth-capable planes, would you say that the F-16 is literally the maneuverable plane that the Air Force has at its disposal?
Well, there's a reason we use it, that's for sure. It's one of the most agile aircraft in the Air Force's arsenal, for sure. And it's a beautiful aircraft, too. The aerodynamics of it just make it that much better.
Yeah, you were talking about that engine takeoff and watching them maintain that low and then just pull right up, man. I mean, this is insane.
Yep. So they'll maintain that low, like they'll be probably 20 feet off the ground and maintaining that takeoff route. And then right after they pass the end of the runway, they'll just launch it straight up.
This team is the only team that takes off in multiples, tandem with other planes.
With the Air Force, yeah.
With the Air Force.
The Blue Angels will be the other team, the other demo team, and I believe most other demo teams have that authorization to do it. But within the Air Force, we're the only jets that do it. We're the only team that does that.
That's cool.
Yep.
Next, we're headed straight into the Thunderbirds Museum. This place is phenomenal. The amount of history that's retained within this room can't be beat. From the first days detailing the earliest aircraft used, pilots, crew, memorabilia, gear, and so much more. Detailing every aspect of the pride and joy, the phenomena that is the Thunderbirds.
On the wall here, you'll see some of these pictures. Top right is our first team. If you look at the guys on the left and the right, they look very similar. They're actually twin brothers. Some of the aircraft flown, we started out with the F-84G. After that, we moved on to the F-84F, which is the Thunderstreak. After that, we transitioned to the F-100, which was our first supersonic air show. Some notable people on here, this is our first female Thunderbird. And then our first African-American pilot was Captain Lloyd Newton at the time, then Major, and now he's actually a retired general, 4-star general. So we transitioned to the F4, which is right here. Number 4 always had a black tail because the engines burned so hot. It would just coat the tail. Eventually they said, we're tired of cleaning this, we'll just paint it black. It's this giant painting. It was done back in 1984 by a couple superfans, the Wakey brothers. The story is that they painted this in their garage, and then they had to take a wall out of the garage to get it out. But it depicts every aircraft we've flown throughout the team's history. It also shows you a little bit of what Nellis and Las Vegas looked like back in the 80s. It's a lot smaller.
Now, you were talking earlier about the F-16 being around for as long as it has, not just even necessarily the Thunderbirds, but just being the kind of the warplane that it is. It's still comparable. I mean, now it's all over the world. I mean,
yeah, it's still a hugely capable multi-role fighter. You want it to be air to ground, it can do it. You want it to be air to air, it's even better. That's probably one of the best dogfighters out there. It's so maneuverable.
But as a comparable fighter, when you talk about new technology, its position. And now, obviously, it wouldn't be part of the Thunderbird team if it wasn't absolutely just maneuverable.
So aerodynamically, it's a perfect aircraft. It does exactly what it wants to do. It flies really well. What the advancement in technology has focused on, which you've seen with the 22s and 35s, is the stealth technology. Stealth was huge. It's a huge upgrade, especially during the Gulf War. They're like, we need to upgrade to stealth where people can finally see us. You know, we need to be able to counter that. The F-16, unfortunately, doesn't have that stealth capabilities, but when they go out and fly, they can outmaneuver just about anything that comes at them. I don't know if you've ever seen this. There's a video on YouTube of a fighter pilot who was getting chased by a couple SAMs. And they have the cockpit footage, you can hear so it shows basically what's looking out in front of him, and then they have the HUD footage overlaid over it. You can hear him talking. And so he's like, oh, I'm getting fired upon, he's doing communication, then he pulls his G's, and you can hear him go, like he's doing all his G straining, as the aircraft's just outmaneuvering these missiles that are coming at him. And he was totally fine, didn't get hit, didn't clip anything. These aircraft are insane.
Gunship Battle, Total Warfare. That's it. We're going to bring this day to a close, and I can't tell you how overwhelmed we are. My first time actually at an Air Force base.
Yeah, for me too.
We couldn't have done it without the hospitality of the Thunderbirds, and what a team. What would you say that your favorite thing about all of this was?
Oh man, if I had to pick one, I would definitely think that it would be when I was able to actually sit in one of the replica cockpits, because you can actually see all the buttons and everything, all the switches, and everything was just exactly as it is, as it would be in like an actual one. So that was definitely the highlight of my day. What about you?
I'd say we get to see all the game stuff. I mean, you guys look. I mean, there's an F4 Phantom right there. There's an A-10. Obviously, this beautiful machine is not in game. Hopefully, we got future. We have lots of future here. But to actually see the F-16s, obviously the Thunderbirds, things I don't even want to talk about just because they're not even in game yet, or we got privilege, man. This was absolutely amazing. So I'd say, yeah, just to watch these machines in the flesh do what they're here to do. It's amazing.
Again, I want to give a big shout out and a thank you again to the Thunderbirds. And yeah, that's about it. We're ready to wrap up. Thank you guys so much for coming along on this journey and checking out everything that we had the very awesome privilege to be able to see in person.
How do you official wrap up on these videos, man?
How do you actually wrap up? What do you mean?
Fear the bones.
Fear the bones. Hey guys, it's Nuki, and I am here today with Reddick in Nevada. I forgot what I was supposed to say after that.
Yeah, perfect.
and I am here today with Reddick in Nevada.